This is Culture Unmasked. I'm Madison with Golden Tree Publishing, and I'm here with Ray. You want to introduce yourself real quick?
What's going on, guys? My name is Raymond Youngblood, also known as Ray's Arts. I'm a digital freelance illustrator.
Newman?
What's going on? This is Chris Newman. I'm nobody, but just a presence here just to give my own thoughts. But you can find me on Instagram, Chris Newman 216, if you want to look for me and find the nothing I do.
And you can find us at GoldenTreePublishing.com. It's Golden Tree Publishing on Instagram and Facebook, as well as Twitter. Ray, you want to tell them where they can find you real quick?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Rays_Arts. That is RAIZ_ARTS. Twitter, Ray's Arts, all one word. Patreon, Ray's Arts, all one word. On Facebook, you can find me at RaysArts.official.
Cool. So I guess we'll get into it. Anything new since the last time that you guys seen and anything want to talk about?
And my favorite anime is back. Higurashi no Naku Koroni Sotsu. I'm hoping this is the very last season because I can't take anymore. But it's really good. Psychological thriller, horror, all of that junk. You can actually find the first 3 seasons. So I did find a place where you can officially find it, guys. But you can find the first 3 seasons on High Dive. Notice it's not a sponsored vid, but check it out anyway. And you can find the newer seasons on Funimation and Hulu.
Cool. Anything you seen? No.
Nothing new. No new shows. Nothing like that. Just started watching the NBA Finals every once in a while, man. That's it. That's all I've been watching, honestly. I can't think of anything. No new book, new artwork I've been looking at, but that's it. Yeah, nothing cool, man, like you guys.
I don't think I've seen anything. I started reading this book. What's it called? I don't even remember the name of it because I'm about 20 pages in. Because I started working on this prose book that I'm working on, and wanted to read something that's third person omniscient, and because there really aren't that many books like that, and people say don't write books like that because they're too hard to do. But I'm gonna do it. Because I feel like that's the only way that the story can be told properly. But
okay.
But I'm gonna do it. So we'll see how that turns out. But it's basically, from what I just read about now, it's basically about 2 travelers. One's like a magician, and one's kind of like a warrior. And so far it's all right. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. And then, did I watch anything? I think we already talked about Loki last time. And I watched that America on Netflix.
What is it?
It's called America. It's like a cartoon. It's stupid. It's like stupid, but like in a fun way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like fun stupid. Like, it's not something to be taken serious as like a masterpiece of work. It's just like over the top. Like, it's like an action thing, and like basically like it takes itself, like it presents itself like a true story, assuming that people know that everything that's happening is like completely made up, because it's got like George Washington and Abe Lincoln, they're best friends, so like they exist at the same time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. They're like best friends, and they got like John Henry in there, and like. Just like, it's just like one of those things where it's basically just parody. But I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It's not something that's like a masterpiece by any, and you can tell the animation's pretty cheap too, but it was just meant for like to make you laugh.
Yeah,
and have some fun with it. But
damn, I want to see something like that.
So I'd encourage people to check that out. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that was out in the 90s when they, it's like in the 80s, things started to get like kind of loose with TV. And then in the 90s, they were like wilding out. And then now it's like back down the hill where like things are a lot more censored and stuff. unless you're like on like a streaming or like something special, but like on cable, like back when like in the 2000s where MTV was just like doing like straight full frontal nudity on certain shows if they could get away with it, like that, like it's kind of like back like in that like late 90s kind of time is what it reminded me of. But I think that's about it. I swear I watched it anime.
Did you start that new Seven Deadly Sins?
Oh, that's it. I did. I watched it. Look, man. I can't stop watching Seven Deadly Sins. Like I'll always watch it when it comes out. But there's just so much like it's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like if you ever said somebody was making it up as they went, that's the story of Seven Deadly Sins. I don't read the manga, but that's the story. That's what I get from this. This dude is making this up, or whoever made it. They're making it up as they go. Like they have no outline. They're just like, we know what this is going to happen now, and this is going to happen now. That's what I get from it. But I can't stop watching it. So I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about it, but. That's what I get. I'm like, oh, okay, now they can do this. Oh, okay, that's why. All right. Like he's clearly making this up as he goes. That's what I get from it.
But they have power levels now, so you know it's legitimate.
Right. The pointless power levels. They're so pointless. There's no point to power levels.
Oh, man.
That's what Akira Toriyama was saying about Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like the whole reason was just to show how pointless they would be. Like after a while, he's like they're pointless. But
could you imagine like Ultra Instinct Goku right now have to have a power level?
Right.
Your power level it's impossible.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's funny with that voice.
But like I was watching it and I'm thinking like of Lord of the Rings, right? Because like that's what like J.R.R. Tolkien's famous quote or whatever is like, it's a tale that grew in the telling. Like he just started adding stuff to the story he was telling his kids, but he outlined his stuff. It's like, you know, he planned it out before he's going to sit down and actually write the novel. Like the story might have grew organically, but I feel like this dude's like, whatever I got, all right, submit. Like, you know what I mean? No editors, no nothing. But I can't stop watching it, so I'm gonna watch the next season. I'm just keep watching it until it's done. But yeah, that was the anime I watched. I was like, I know I watched something, but that's probably why I forgot too. It's not the best season.
Man. Everybody listen up. Definitely, if you're not already, because you're deciding to watch it, man, read My Hero Academia. It is so good. Like where they are right now. I don't want to give away any spoilers or even any indications of a spoiler. Just go read My Hero Academia. I do have a quick question. Has any of you guys watched Tokyo Revengers yet?
No, that's on my watch list. That in the 86 and Odd Taxi.
Odd Taxi, I just got done watching a video on it by Mother's Basement.
Yeah, those are on my watch list. I haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah, Tokyo Revengers is amazing. Like it's much better than it has any business being. Just, you know, from the premise. Like it's really good.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. It's got the hype.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's called? The Tomorrow War on Amazon. It's like the Chris Pratt, and it's like the movie where it's like they take people from the past to fight the war in the future.
I love that.
Right. So, you know, obviously it has the issues that any time anyone does time travel has. Like, you know, there's just always going to be like, well, but what about this? That doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But for what it was, I mean, it was a decent enough movie. And I feel like a lot of this, it's like if you combined, what's the movie that everybody likes where you can't talk? Because the monster.
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
Yeah.
It's like if you combine Quiet Place with that really bad Will Smith Will and Jaden Smith movie,
After Earth.
I
if you
fell asleep
combine
to
them
it.
together, that's the movie you would get. And you'd get about right in the middle of quality for those movies too. But that's basically what it is. It's like they smashed those two movies together and they made this movie. So yeah, I mean, if you got Prime, just watch it. You're already paying for it.
I gotta watch it just because you been smashed those two movies into one, man, and I'm like,
Right.
damn,
It's basically
I'm
what
intrigued.
it is. Watch it and tell me if that's what you think it is. To me, that's basically what it is.
You put it in my mind. I'm gonna have to make it.
Right. And that I imagine that was the pitch. Whoever wrote the script, it's A Quiet Place meets After Earth or whatever. Is that the movie called?
Yeah.
They're playing. Oh wow, yeah, write it.
Go with it. Get big names.
But yeah, it was an entertaining movie for sure. Like it's not gonna blow your mind, but they did well enough. I'm still waiting for some. I guess Looper did good with time travel, but I'm still waiting for someone to just nail time travel. It's hard to do. But anything else?
Man, I was revisiting old movies, I think, to fall asleep to, like seeing what like held up, like Euro Trip. It's hilarious. Tropical Thunder didn't hold up as well.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder. But yeah, I watched what Euro Trip, that Dodgeball. Still had some laughs. I remember just those, but those was like something that was I went to someone's house and they was on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I ain't turned my TV on in like a month to like a week.
Right.
But
yeah, I've mostly just been working and watching basketball when I can while I work.
Yeah.
That's it. But
hey, I'm gonna just throw another plug out there for Higurashi. If you're looking for a good time travel like anime, that's it. And Steins Gate.
yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Higurashi.
I'm sure the Japanese do time travel better.
They do time travel way better. Yo, absolutely. Outside of Dragon Ball Super. But yeah, no, like Steins Gate's really good too. I don't know if you've seen it, but you should watch it.
I guess with that, then I guess we kind of move in. I guess we'll just talk a little bit about like animation and finding animators. And I know you guys haven't really stepped into that, but I know you're doing some work.
Yes, I am
with some animators. So I'll just talk about my experience because like for the past probably year, probably like right around a couple months after the pandemic started, it was when I started my search for like an animator. Just looking to get some stuff done. And I got a bunch of quotes from a lot of people, big studios and small studios. And it's very expensive. That's what I learned first off. So like some of the larger studios, who did I reach out to? I think I can't even remember anymore because I'm not going to work with them because they cost so much. So like, I don't even remember who they are, but I reached out to like a lot of big studios. And so I was looking to get probably around 45 seconds of animation, high quality, not the highest quality, but like mid-range. Basically what you would see on a lot of the anime shows that don't have the highest frame rates. And so the quote was like $75K to $55K for 45 seconds of animation. I imagine like anything it's scalable. So like if you wanted to have a show produced that's 20 minutes long, maybe it's a little cheaper per second because you're doing more. But so with that, I was like, okay, so I got to take a different approach. So in many ways, I kind of went the way I went with artists, and I just started scouring the internet for people who make their own animations, like even if they're just doing like their own little clips on YouTube and things like that. Like, and you'll see people like they'll do like a lot of it's like imitation stuff. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do. Somebody did an animation where it was like Gal from Street Fighter fighting like Bucky as the Winter Soldier, and somebody else was in it too that came in that stepped into the fight, and it was like, I mean, the animation wasn't what I was looking for, but it was like done really well, and so like that's just one of the things that just stand out to me. So it's like, okay, I'm looking for people kind of like this. And then I came across this guy, Racer, who is in the process of recreating the fight between Meliodas and what's my man's name?
Meliodas and Bond?
No. Meliodas and dang, why can't I remember his name now? The Pride Sin.
Pride Sin. Huh. Escanor.
Escanor, yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's in the process of recreating that fight in the cube between Escanor and Meliodas, and his stuff looked like this is like somebody that's just doing it at the crib, basically, and it's really on point. So, basically, but here's the thing, right? Because I was looking for people all across, like anyone that just is like kind of indie. And I know it's not going to be charging basically like $1,000, $5,000 a second. You know what I mean? Like, this is wild when you think about it. Like, and you think about how much it costs to make an animation, which is why so many animes and cartoons in general get canceled. Because, so in America, first off, I guess I got a little, just to touch on it. In America, most animation, no matter what the show is, if it's an American cartoon, it's tied to merchandise and toys. And if those aren't selling, the show will get canceled because the bank is, we're going to sink millions into this show because we're going to make 10 times as much on the merchandise, which is basically how a lot of our era, all the toys we have, all the cartoons we watch, the toys were made first. Transformers, He-Man, all of that. All of that is just about selling the toys. We've got these toys. Let's make a show to make the kids want to buy the toys because that's where the money is. And so it's still like that today. Even with the big Marvel and DC, if you know, I won't touch on it, but there's a whole like backlash against Marvel and DC because people are saying like their comics suck now and all this other stuff, and they're not putting a lot of effort into it. But the reality is that like, well, one, there's a lot of issues there with Marvel and DC because they make so much money. Like the comics are like nothing in their profit margin, right? Like now the movies are doing so well, but everything's made off of licensing and IP, all the lunch boxes and T-shirts, and that's where most of their money's coming from for Marvel and DC. That's all the Superman shirts and Batman T-shirts and all the, you know, licensing they give out to people so that they can make, you know, Batman glasses, toothpaste and all of that. Like that's where the bulk of the money comes from. So they're kind of tied to those IPs. So they don't want to make new characters because the new character might eat into the IP of the old character when they know they've got a guaranteed success, a guaranteed property that's going to make them money with a Batman or a Spider-Man. Why am I going to bring a new character in? And that's the business side of it. That's not the story side of it. Like people say, well, why wouldn't you want to tell good stories? Well, I don't know. If you're making $500 million a year, how many good stories do you still want to tell at a certain time? You know, especially if you hire a bunch of, you know, corporate suits who don't really care about stories. But I say all that to say that, you know, finding, you know, animation is just, it's very expensive. And so when I was looking, I started seeing a lot of people from like foreign countries. And the guy that I reached out to, Racer, he's from the Dominican Republic and he doesn't really speak English. Luckily, one of my best friends is from the DR. So I can just have him as a translator. But like that's like part of the search is like, you know, like with, it's almost similar to searching for an artist in that you just have to, you got to be willing to reach out anywhere, like however you can do it. Like a lot of people that are doing indie comics that aren't artists, that are writers, they, you know, their artists are from Spain or Brazil or, you know, Kazakhstan, who knows? Like, you know, they hire a lot of foreign workers or foreign artists because one, they're generally cheaper than American artists for whatever reason. But you're getting a very similar quality of work. I prefer to work with American artists because I think some things are lost in translation. It's like, even if I'm working with a black artist versus I'm working with a white artist or a Hispanic artist, there are just certain things that I'll say, like to like, to like, that I'll have in my script that a Black artist will get and be able to, I won't have to explain it.
The cultural.
Right.
Okay.
It's not, it's almost just like you kind of grew up on the same thing. So the way you would see it is the way they see it. Mm-hmm. And so like that can be lost in translation too with when you're working with someone foreign. So you have to be really kind of, more detailed and specific on exactly what you want. And so it's kind of the same way, I guess, with the animation where like I started to put together a script and, get everything together for how long, and that's the thing too, because I'm just starting. So it's like, I don't know how long. If I write this script, I don't know exactly what 45 seconds of animation entails. This might be a minute and a half, it might be 20 seconds. But I know I want 45 seconds. So just kind of doing the research on like just looking up like what you really want to look up is show Bibles for animation cartoon series. So like a show Bible is basically it'll usually have the full script to the first and second episodes, and they're out there for the public. Certain things you can find if you just Google them.
Sonic has one,
right? It'll have basically the outline of the whole season. And then they'll usually have the full script for either the first episode or the first and second episode. And so you can get an idea of what you're looking at as far as that. At least that's what I did is like, I kind of compare and say, okay, so like this is a 20-minute show. And so this much here is probably about, a minute. And then breaking it down from there for my own script, kind of just reverse engineering what they did and then kind of putting it into my own. I know, Ray, you kind of recently got some work with animation. Like what, like, are you seeing as far as in regards to like how they work and what they're doing as far as like their pricing and just like, what's the studio and like who do they work for? How, are they more indie or are they?
Yeah, it's an indie project that I'm actually a colorist for my first animation gig. But no, it's about 360 drawings and like I have to color each one digitally, so like it's not as painstakingly as doing it by hand, but I actually only have the job for a few weeks, so it actually ends next week. Whatever I don't get done, it's kind of like I don't get done. But they paid me a flat rate up front, which was pretty generous for, it to be my very first gig. And I get to put it in my CV. Right. But it's very, 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 very hard work. So I'm thankful, that I don't have to necessarily complete this project, but I'm just taking someone's place until their vacation was over, essentially.
Right. So like, yeah, like, I mean, like you're saying, it's 360
individual
frames,
drawings. Yeah, frames.
Drawing the frames out. And so like that kind of explains how and why animation costs so much, because then the studios also want to make money too. So they're doing it. And usually like a larger studio is going to have a whole team of people assigned to a certain project. And they are doing things like that, like, 360 drawings or whatever. And so like one of the things too is like when I'm looking, it's like my time, I'm not expecting like, think about like, right, you're doing 360 frames, right?
Yeah.
You're just doing the colors of it.
I'm just doing the colors. They're already drawn.
Laid out, drawn out.
Yeah.
All of that. And how many weeks did they give you to do it?
3.
And you may or may not get all those done. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So there's a time frame too, which is one of the things that, like I said, when we were talking off before we started recording this podcast, is I'm not sure if I want to even continue my animation project right now, because I also understand that if I work with some of these smaller people for 45 seconds of animation where maybe they're working by themselves with some help from 1 or 2 other people, the time frame on 45 seconds of animation for a person working by themselves who's probably has their own job, like a regular job, or or if they are done well enough to freelance and do other animations, they're doing other animations
at the same time,
it all by themselves. That's like a year turnaround.
Yeah,
for just 45 seconds, maybe even more.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, that's why Disney movies take so long to create.
Oh God.
Yeah. So when you're talking about planning of like if you want any animation done and when you want, it's different if like you got somebody just doing some 3D digital work. And they can just put some sticks out there and do like, you know, some of the stuff you see like on YouTube or like them little cheap like insurance commercials, like in general. Go to a general. Like that animation does not take as long. It's like with what South Park does and how, you know, like there's the reason why they're able to stay so current on their show, like where like something will happen the week before and it'll be in the show the next week is because of how, you know, everything's digital there and they're not doing a whole bunch of frame rates. You look at South Park and you see it's not like, you know, it's not fluid. But yeah, you got to plan out too, like when like if you're looking for an animator, an independent animator, and you're expecting to get something done, like I said, I'm talking 45 seconds. Let's say you want 10 minutes of something done and you're expecting it to be done in 3 months.
Impossible.
Or you start looking for an artist and you think, okay, once I get an artist, I'm going to get this out in 6 months. Nah, that's not going to happen. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it's probably not. You probably want to look and say, okay, in 2025, you know, I want to have this 10-minute animation. Mm-hmm. And you should be doing everything kind of to lay the foundation for that, so that when it's ready, you have everything else set up, which is probably what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And for my eyes, I didn't know it took that long, that much work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of, I'm guessing labor costs you paying for that.
Right. Yeah. Even myself, like I found a lot of this out just from the search. Like you said, especially like when I started, like I always knew like about frames and stuff like that, but then it's like, it doesn't really dawn on you. At least for me, until like people started sending me the quotes. And then I'm like, okay, so they got like, you know, especially the larger studios, they're going to have like 10 people working on it. They're going to have, you know, one person, a couple people doing different frames, you know,
one person doing the in-between.
Yeah, right. They're going to have somebody on the digital, someone doing the coloring, someone, you know, kind of working the script you would send them to make it fit what, you know, they think is going to be best. And there's going to be all of that. And like a studio like that could turn it around in 2-3 months, right? I mean, they could turn it around probably in a week if they weren't working on anything else, like a big studio. But even those studios, like I'm talking about, like I reached out to one of the studio that did Castlevania for Netflix. And even they were like, it's going to take us 3 months for this 45 seconds of animation. So you scale that down to just somebody who's in their house on their, you know, laptop, or on their PC, how long you think it's going to take them to do it by themselves. So that's just something to really keep in mind, for looking for animators and animation. And that's more if you want, and I'm talking about like things that I watch, like anime or like Justice League, that kind of level of animation. I'm not talking about like the South Park things or some of these little like clip shows where you see, or if you watch like YouTube people who do like reviews with an avatar that just kind of, you know, it's like basically in place, but like maybe the mouth moves and the head moves. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking about like an actual, like if you're trying to make a cartoon or animated movie or something like that.
Now y'all got me thinking about the old Ninja Turtle cartoons in the 80s. How they like headbands used to change colors and the whole turtle be changed colors, or else, you know, like just different scenes. So like you got me thinking like, oh, that's probably a different artist.
Right.
They didn't have the same
you'll
color
see that a
tones and
lot.
stuff.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot. Like, who's the guy that wrote Savage Dragon? I forget. For Image, but he said he was like so excited to see like his comic animated, but then he's like watching it, he's like, the dude looks different Like in every like scene, it looks a little different. And he was like, it was awesome to see, but he's like, man, like, you know, animation's something else, because it's like, you know, they have multiple people working on it. And you see that a lot, especially when you're talking about like back in our time, like the X-Men show and all of that. Like if you pay attention, like it's pretty wonky sometimes with the animation, and it can be off. And part of that is because just how much it takes to animate stuff. Also, if you're looking, like I said, if you're thinking you're going to make a cartoon or an animation and you're going to make a lot of money off it, think about what we said earlier about how a lot of that stuff is tied into other things. Even like your favorite anime is tied to a manga that's making money. It's not usually the other way around. It's not they make the anime and then they make the manga. It's the manga's already popular. We'll put this out. Mm-hmm. It's not the other way where, oh, this is a really popular cartoon. Let's make a comic for it. It's not usually, it doesn't usually work that way.
It does happen sometimes, but more often than not, the manga came first. And more often than not, especially like if it's a high-ranking anime, the manga sales definitely do go up after like the first season or so. And I mean, I fall for it too. I can say that I watched 2 seasons of My Hero Academia before next thing I know, I'm getting a Viz Media subscription. I'm buying all of the manga as soon as they come out. And now I rarely watch the anime. If I know that like a good fight or something's going to come out, I'll watch that. But other than that, no, I'll just read it. I did the same thing with Naruto. I did the same thing with Fairy Tail. So, I mean, the tactic works. It gets the job done. Promised Neverland, which, by the way, season 2, just skip it. Just read the manga. Yeah. Like, yeah.
But that's basically all I got on animation. It's just talking a little bit about kind of what I've been doing. I know there's people out there who are kind of, like I said, at the same level or just getting started and are looking into animation. And that's just kind of some ways to approach it. But I guess with that, we can kind of wrap it up.
Let me ask one more thing. Do they have classes on animation, like in schools? Like, do y'all know of anybody, students and
Absolutely.
stuff like that?
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, there's any art school is going to have an animation course. Any art school. So yeah, there's plenty of animators out there. And again, it's just about, quelling your expectations and planning. There's so much more planning involved with getting any type of animation done. Even if you're like trying to just make an animated commercial, like it's a lot more planning involved than any other type of kind of medium because even like live action is you just need a camera, right? People who could talk the words, right? You don't need that much. It's easier to make a movie than it is to make an animated movie when you like put it all together, like as far as an independent person.
But I do want to kind of go back to what you were saying about classes. So yes, there's definitely like every art school animation class. But like a lot of times, you'll find like there are classes on YouTube. I'm enrolled in YouTube University right now, for animation, and it's doing pretty well for me. But also Skillshare is another online resource that teaches you not only about animation, but writing and acting and all types of other things as well. So we are not sponsored by Skillshare, but definitely give them a look.
Come to us first.
We say plugging everybody, man. We need it.
So we're keeping it real, man. People got to use stuff. Like,
okay.
That's what's up. But, I guess with that, Newman, you want to tell people where they can find you at one more time?
Yeah, only on Instagram. Chris Newman 216. Look out for me. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah, check out Quick Drip too. They could where you at it. Ray?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. You can find me on Instagram at Raiz_arts, RAIZ_ARTS, on Patreon, Twitter, You can find me it's all one word, Raise Arts. And then on Facebook, you can find me at raisearts.official.
Cool. And Madison Hawthorne with Golden Tree Publishing. You can find us at goldentreepublishing.com. You can check out King of Sweden Last Bloodline for free. First 3 chapters are up, and there'll be 3 more chapters for free coming basically monthly till the end of the year. So check it out while you can, because it won't be free forever. You can find us on Golden Tree Publishing on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. But yeah, check us out. Any shout outs you guys got?
Yes. On Instagram, my friend Ike, you can check him out, Foresight_7. If you're a fan of the Archie comic, Sonic the Hedgehog run, or the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog run, you'll love his artwork. That is Foresight, FOURSIDE_7, and spell it out SEVEN.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm gonna give a shout out to some family. My brother, basically, Alex Newman. He's starting to get into health products, service. He was in services for a while, so now he's actually got a product. Hopefully he gets big with it. But you can find him on Instagram and on Facebook at Alex Newman. But it's moss. I guess he gets it from St. Lucia. It's supposed to be good for your pores, skin, all that. I don't know. Just wanted to give him a plug, man. He's just starting to do some stuff for himself. So look for a moss, however you use it, I guess. You can custom make it too in flavors.
Where would they find that at?
Just look for him for right now. Directly on, like I said, Instagram, and you probably find him on Facebook, which is going to be Alex Newman.
Cool. And I guess I gave a shout out to we actually sponsored his video, 2 of his videos, The Dark Sage on YouTube. You can check him out. He does like manga hauls and manga reviews basically. And, really entertaining as far as just in regards to his commentary and also like his reviews on manga and stuff like that. Yeah, that's about it. You can check him out on YouTube. It's called Dark Sage, DARKSAGE. And that's it. Until next time. Peace.